What's going on, everybody? This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. Get this chart up in the den here very quickly. Wow, huh? Some interesting data coming out. For sure, contraction in GDP in Q1 25. It's pre-tariffs, huh? Your PC for this past month, right? Okay, you're basically flat. Could still be some kind of anticipation of an increase, at least in the price index with tariffs. So we're not out of the woods there yet. Year over year, your inflation is still high. You're going to get some kind of contraction, I would assume, again next quarter, unless this all kind of reverses. But I still think some damage has been done, definitely psychologically. I guess some of the words coming out now is that China has stated that the U.S. has reached out to do some tariff negotiations. I think this administration is in kind of a rock and a hard place. I believe their tariffs kind of, were part of their plan. Again, there's been a lot of different plans going on. Do we take revenue from the tariffs and use that to supplement, either pay for our debt here or remove income tax, or do we use the tariffs just as some kind of bargaining tool? And maybe, it's a mix of all of them, but I'm not sure anyone is totally clear on that in any major way. I was actually looking at some stuff. I want to go over some of the miners, especially the gold miners. Okay, Goro is moving pretty heavily. It is some decent volume. They had some pretty bad earnings. Like, bad meaning not sure they're going to be able to continue operating. Okay, so that's really tough. This is some phenomenal movement in the equity today, but yeah, I mean, the point range. We'll look at everything they have. I mean, we'll take a look at their reports, and I don't blame them. I think they're in a tough spot, but there are some other places that we can look. Of course, Harmony has been doing extremely well. I think VGZ will prove to do well as also. I mean, this is really mimicking a lot of what the gold contract has been doing in general. You've had this very nice push to the upside in Vista Gold. Again, these guys operate out of Australia, American company, I believe headquartered in Colorado. We've had Fred Ernest on a few times, actually, the CEO of Vista Gold. This has had some really phenomenal movement to the upside, and you're kind of just in this digestive period. Again, I am a little bit suspect of Goro into why it's rallying like this. So, you have this kind of near-term top here and another one here. Again, we'll go through everything. Let's take a look at just kind of our general list here. You're looking at the SPY off 0.77%, getting some kind of volume developing. You have the composite trading off 1.03% at 17,281. Dow Jones Industrial trading off 0.52% at 40,316, and those futures are also off 0.51% at 40,451. You have the Russell futures trading off 1.11%. Taking a look at the dollar, ticking up a little bit. Okay, you're up 0.26%, 99.45. Taking a look at Bitcoin, you're moving off just a tad, 1.38% at 94,655. Again, it's been really impressive to see this asset move. But it is now behaving, again, back in line. It's like we had kind of a momentary divergence in the price movement of Bitcoin. Again, this is basically positively correlated with the Qs, okay? We did see a little bit kind of different behavior, but we're right back there, at least as it stands now. Crude, man, what a tank in crude, okay? It's like we're trying to test that bottom almost, okay? You're at 58.10. off 3.84%. What is the thought with this? Okay, so, with the GDP numbers, and again, I understand PC is flat, but you still have, somewhat persistent inflation, right? Year over year. Okay, so more data is going to need to come out with inflation numbers, to really be able to say, okay, hey, listen, maybe we can start lowering rates right now. We can start doing some quantitative easing, get some money in a serious way into this market, and start ripping off. I don't know. I think it's very shaky, at least up until June in this market. Take a look at that. So you have fear of recession, okay, with GDP moving off 0.3%. pretty intense, right? I believe that economic activity will continue to contract as well, which was a little bit part of our thesis of not really wanting to get into NUE, Nucor right now. That is what I'm definitely watching, and I would like to get into at some point. But seeing some stuff with Cleveland Cliffs and some slowdown from Caterpillar and all those kind of things, I would like to wait until I can be a little bit more confident that we are going to see a revival, or maybe we avert it. Maybe we're not negative next quarter, and everything gets resolved, and we're not in a recession, and we'll see. But as it stands now, this is definitely movement in light sweet crude futures that are anticipating recession. Okay. Additionally, on top of that, you have Saudi Arabia saying, "Hey, listen. We can keep our oil prices lower for much longer." Again, we were talking about some issues that Kazakhstan, I believe it was having with OPEC in particular, OPEC, but Saudi Arabia in particular. And this is the idea of increasing supply. Saudi Arabia can absorb that. Who knows what they're doing? Maybe they're trying to gain more market share or whatever it might be. But you have kind of two depressive factors now. Additionally, any new leasing with things like fracking or extra drilling, of course, will suppress in some capacity light sweet crude oil futures. So we'll see for any kind of better development on this. Of course, when this rallied down here, I thought this was very overextended. Wanted to get into Gush. Of course, that is Directions leveraged oil ETF here. Yeah, you're off 6.69%. But if you got a hunch on crude, definitely check out that leveraged ETF. Great way to do it, especially if you don't have your account able to trade futures. Okay, taking a look at gold contract off 0.54%. Again, we're just in this digestive phase. There's not a lot of flow coming out relative to what we've been seeing over the past month, okay? My only concern that exists with gold, right, is that if things do improve, right, and listen, you're seeing capital flight really out of the markets, right? Out of stocks. You're seeing a lot of money, even retail now, flow into money market funds. Tons of money, like 7 trillion in money market funds. Gold contract has seen a lot of that as well, and you're staying relatively stable. If things improve, do you see gold becoming a source of liquidity? This could be kind of difficult for the price of gold. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back. We'll talk a little bit more about this when we return.